Welcome back to Game On, and we have a special guest in Brian Baloyi joining us now to speak, of course, about a man who holds a special place in South African football, that being Tshabalala, who recently passed away. Brian, thank you so much for your time. The country, I think it's safe to say, is in mourning right now with the passing of Tshabalala. You had the chance to rub shoulders with him, Muspane and I. Tell us about the man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, man, may his soul rest in peace. You know, I remember when I just signed for Chiefs, I think around 1991 when he came back to Chiefs. But at the time now, you know, when he came to Chiefs at that time, he came as a team manager. But you know, in those times, we had a lot of stories from, you know, the players that he's coached, his style of coaching.
Yeah.
And we wanted to experience that. And he was a fun-loving person, man. He was just fun to have around. And wherever he was, people were always laughing. A lot of the players that he's coached that will tell you, whether at club level or at national level, he's one coach that a lot of times, you know, players don't want to be around the coach when it's not, you know, in the game.
Yeah.
But him, players just wanted to be around him.
Sure.
Whether they're having dinner or just sitting around camp, they always wanted to be around him because he always had funny stories, and funny things to say about, you know, some of the other players around him.
Yeah. Now, here's a man who has a history. I mean, you are a legend at Chiefs, legend as well as Sundowns. He's also a man who contributed to South African football with Chiefs, with Sundowns, and Orlando Pirates as well. First South African national team coach. All-rounded contribution to South African football up until his passing. Yeah,
all-rounder in terms of contributing to South African football. And I believe is one of the people I would say, you know, when you talk about people that you'd say was never really given his flowers whilst he was still alive, this is the person. Exactly, first South African coach, national team coach. And then, I mean, what he achieved with Sundowns, with Pirates. Myself as well, I mean, growing up, we always knew him as a Sundowns coach.
Yeah.
You know, the piano in shoe shine. And when you started hearing the stories, when he tells the story that how he came about to come up to coin the phrase, the piano in shoe shine. And that's what made people love Sundowns, you know, in the late 80s, in the 90s. And till today, every Sundowns team that comes and plays, that wants to play beautiful football, people always refer to the piano and shoe shine. They can come with other new terms and all of that, but goes back to the piano and shoe shine.
I mean, for guys our age, and we've been around a while, by the time we started realizing what's going on as young kids, the name Stanley Tshabalala was already there. The culture in South African football, Yetiski as we know it, piano and shoe shine, it's not just that he was part of the soccer fraternity, but he created and played a part in the culture of the way things are done in South Africa. Not just before we're allowed into the international stage, but before and after as well.
Yes, and more importantly as well, I mean, right now we have Coach Pizzo, we have the Rolanis, and a whole lot of other new younger coaches that are coming up. But if you look at them, especially being Sundowns coaches, they all look up to Screamer. They all want to achieve what he had achieved, you know, in those days. And I've heard him, a whole lot of Sundowns supporters that always say that the team that he had is the best Sundowns team ever.
Yes.
I mean, if you had to look at those players that he had back then, you know, the Jersey Queens, the Harold Lehodi, you know, the Iwi Kambules, you know, Mark Anderson. I mean, myself as a young goalkeeper, in those days, one of the people that I looked up to was Mark Anderson.
Yes.
And when I first got my call up in '97, when I got to camp, I remember just walking and sharing a room with him, you know, my hero. And yeah, those are some of the players that he coached and that really, you know, hold him very high. And they most of them, they all tell you how he came up with how a coach, a perfect coach would be today, where he always wanted to be very close to his players and to be the father figure, where before coaches were always, you know,
Bosses.
Yeah.
So there you have it then, as we continue to remember and more on the man who did so much for South African football, for South Africa since way back. We're talking back in the 70s up until this very day. We, of course, send our thoughts and prayers to the Tshabalala family and the South African football fraternity as a whole is in mourning. Now, Hollywood Bets has been hard at work, of course, as you always know, out in the Northwest with the Men's Regional League. So let's find out what Hollywood Bets has been doing and give it back.
The Hollywood Bets Regional League Playoffs. This is where you find the purest form of the beautiful game. This time, our journey took us to the Northwest Province, and it was clear from the onset that the atmosphere was going to be electric.
What we need to do first is to appreciate Hollywood Bets for having stepped in and came as a partner. You know, sometimes the word sponsor for me, it's like you are only coming in and putting in money, but you are a partner, so that we can work together and ensure that we develop football together. In its inaugural year has brought a dimension, particularly in the Northwest, where people now are associating this particular regional leagues with a very renowned brand. And it has actually awakened this, and our development level and our development strategies are at another level.
After many battles throughout the season in the Northwest Province, it was down to 4 teams in the Hollywood Bets Regional League Playoffs, with 2 spots up for grabs in the ABC Motsepe League for the 2 finalists. Bakaka, Nkamodira, Real Movers, and Patlero Football Club, these were the teams who had made it all the way to the semi-finals, who would be standing tall at the end of it all. Both semi-finals were intense, filled with drama, moments of magic, and moments of regret, with penalties needed on both occasions to decide the winner.
Can't explain the feeling. I think it's been a while. It's been too long. I think it's maybe 8 years now. Been fighting for this team to get the promotion to ABC Motsepe. So at least the boys have made me proud. Even though the first half they lost a little bit of focus, but I'm happy that they have won.
We are very happy, very emotional, you know. Looking back where we come from throughout the season, the challenges that we had, we've been through so much challenges, and then, you know, with this kind of boys, they showed me that they want to win this, you know, so it's very touchy for me.
The 2 promoted teams and winners of the shootouts, Bakaka FC and Real Movers, then faced off in the final for the title and what many would describe as the icing on the cake. It was Real Movers FC who emerged as the champions of the Hollywood Bets Regional League Playoffs in the Northwest Province, and it rounded off a great season for them and all their supporters. This was once again a great advertisement for South African football.
What I'm seeing here, like the boys, their parents are calling them, they are watching them, so it's motivating them itself. So I think maybe some of them now, they will start coming and playing. So I think it's gonna promote, like we're gonna maybe in years to come, we're gonna have a good national team. Because of now, maybe the boys, they will come from here.
I can tell you today that after these games, next season in the new league, there will surely be more interest in this particular league. Like I said, I just want to thank Holy Bets for coming to SAFA and becoming a partner with us in developing football.
Hollywood Bears doing their bit, of course, in giving back to the beautifully South African game. Now, we have run out of time, so I would like to take the time to thank you at home for taking the time to join us here on this Saturday afternoon. We'd also like to give a special mention and a special thank you to Tshabalala for his true contribution to the South African game, and may his soul rest in peace.